Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It's the iGPFun Super Formula Lights, round 12 at the Nurburgring. I'm James Parfitt, going to be joined in the booth by Mr. Edward Hunter as we take on the 5.07 kilometre length circuit in Germany, in Nurburg, of course, part of the Nordschleife complex with this Grand Prix layout as well. It's going to be very, very exciting indeed. Let's bring you up the scores on the doors, of course, just the top 20. Still with one drop week. We will apply the second one before next week's race. But Antonio Jimenez is out in front on 3.81. Luca Varani on 3.79. Simon Frelick on 3.72 with Jakob Olezwinski on 3.31. Robert Ridgway on 3.15. Then Andy Flint on 3.13. Kevin Webster, Denny Cornu, Lee Aberdeen, Richard Van Veen rounded out the top 10. Then you got Stefan Dodera, Raheem Hakeem, Paul LeMay, Giovanni Salito, and Joseph Lucas rounded out the top 15. Then Patrick Williams, Ben Goyet, Fibard Rabelard, Jacques Willems, and Ludovic Rancon rounding out the top 20. Well, last week at Imola, it was very, very interesting indeed. Jesper Sandström took the victory over Simon Frelick, with Kevin Zwemstra sitting in third. Jakob Olezwinski, Antonio Jimenez, Andy Flint, Clark Williams, Dennis Corner, Luca Varani, Amal Younes round out the top 10, or Younes Amal it should be. Jesper Sandström is here again, so we'll see how he gets on. We are just coming towards the end of qualifying. Just enough time to have a chat with Mr. Edward Hunter. Ed, welcome in.
Hey there, James. And it's great to be back after Imola for these final two rounds, I guess. And the first of them being the Nordschleife here in the Eifel Mountains, of course. As you say, much shorter than the full Nurburgring Nordschleife. That's also on iRacing, but definitely for these F3 cars, this is probably a much more appropriate length lap of circuit. And Sandström at the moment really has been peerless in terms of topping the times. Getting himself onto that provisional pole then, with only a couple of improvements, I think, still to go, and everyone's starting to run out of laps here as we focus will inevitably start to shift towards the race. And of course, last couple of rounds, it's really been Simon Frelick that's been starting to really close the gap to Varani and Jimenez. And Varani and Jimenez were in the middle of a crazy fight, weren't they, with the likes of Younes Amal and was it Denny Cornu as well. They were all just squabbling over fifth in those for like pretty much the second half of the race, and it ended, of course, with a bit of a collision, I think, between Denny Cornu and Luca Varani that allowed Jimenez to sort of pull clear there. So Jimenez, his confidence seems to have been boosted a bit by that. He's gotten himself onto the front row here and could well be a big factor today. So Sandström, it's a very different circuit to Imola as well. Not so many tight chicanes. And a few more overtaking opportunities as well. So Sandström needs to stay on his toes because Jimenez is very much keen to win this title, isn't he? Don't think he has won before. So he definitely wants to get a step closer by beating all two of his rivals today.
Yeah, well, let's bring you up the grid for round number 12. 28 that race. Jesper Sandström in front, Tony Jimenez in second, Kevin Zwemstra third, Mackenzie Roon fourth with Younes Amal, Dennis Cornu, Jakob Olezwinski, Luca Varani, Andy Flint, and Ludovic Rancon rounding out the top 10. Then you got Andrei Rakovic, Chris Bell rounding out 11 and 12. Then Simon Frelick, Joseph Mark Lucas, Fibard Rabelard, Sonny Rosario, Stefan Dodera, Chris Patel, Bart-Jan Van der Laan, Robert Ridgway, Richard Van Veen, and Patrick Williams round out the top 22. Then behind that is Ngayan Ben Goyet, Zoltan Zamoda, Andrew Vaskowski, Patrick Rowlands, Linus Malm, Aaron Lahr, Sean Polsifire, and Koji Ito, if they guys towards the back end take to the grid as well. It's going to be interesting to see that we've got Jesper Sandström back on track again. We know how mighty he was last time out as well at Imola, taking the win by literally 9 seconds, did Jesper. So we'll see how he gets on here and how they get on for what plans to be an epic 28-lap race. Don't forget, where Magenta Zone goes all the way through Ford Curve and then runs all the way down to coming out of Ford. Then you can start overtaking on your way down to Dunlop. So these guys have got a bit of a longer wait to sit in and go single file. Of course, no active overtakes until after turn 7, which is the Ford Curve. Then they can make the run down into Dunlop. So if you're looking at the track map, it's the top left-hand corner. They'll come out of there as well, and then we'll be up and running and racing to go. Just waiting for a few more to get on the circuit. There is Jesper Sandström, last week's winner, back again here. Doing a great job, of course. Let's see how he gets on. Lights are going to be coming on very, very shortly. Looks like Koji Ito and Aaron Lara are not taking to the grid. It's 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. Ladies and gentlemen, round 12 is green, green, green as they make their way down into the Castro S. The first right-hander here, of course, they cannot actively overtake. It means if somebody goes off the circuit, then they're able to get through, but they cannot make any active overtakes at this moment in time. Sandström doing what Sandström is looking to do. He's wants to open up the gap as much as possible through the Mercedes arena. They go, coming through turn 4. Now they've got the run down RTL, which brings them down into the left-hander of turn 6. Once they get out of turn 6 and turn 7, they are free to race, Ed, and I think that's the important thing here for Tony Jimenez. Stay as close to Sandström as possible.
But yeah, he certainly want to do that. Simon Frelick actually made a better launch off the line than Chris Bell, so he's gone from 13th on the grid up to 12th, which is crucial for the title contender. I believe that is legitimate as we go into our first potential overtaking zone of the race, and Sandström is 8/10 now clear of Antonio Jimenez then. So Jimenez, the Spaniard, is really going to have to get a wiggle on. He's certainly cleared Kevin Zemstra to Belgium almost a second, which is brilliant progress there. But Sandström has well and truly got this race by the scruff of its neck now. If Jimenez isn't careful, then he's going to see him escape down the road, as it looks like Frelick is in a battle with Andrei Rakjevic for 11th position, then just behind Oleszewski that we're riding on board with. So that's a very fierce battle, and it looks like Rakjevic has held on at the present moment. So Simon Frelick really having to get his elbows out to try and gain places after a tough qualifying.
Yeah, Mackenzie Rune on the defence.
Oh!
Rune has gone round. We saw that live. Mackenzie Rune just locks his brakes and around he goes. He
Commentators curse. You were just about to talk about how brilliant he was doing.
Yes, I was just about to talk about it until this happened. Well, Mackenzie Rune, I don't think there was any contact going on there. Was it just, he's just locked up, slammed the brakes, and unfortunately the car don't like it, and around Mackenzie Rune goes. But a lot of it rank on. Now he's got Andy Flint behind him and Luca Barani in front of him now. They're fighting out on lap 2, going around Mercedes Arena from 2 to 3 at the moment. Great battles all the way through. The top 3 are fairly spread out. Kevin Zwenstra has got a bit of a queue in behind him here, Ed, and that's basically about it. But even he's opened up a 1.5 second gap.
Yeah, it's Amal. It's Amal that's in trouble here, because he's got his old friend from Imola, Cornu, who he had a crazy fight with as well that ended. Of course, the Moroccan driver Amal made a big mistake, didn't he, at the Variante Alta that took him out of contention. He did actually recover, just snuck his way back into the top 10 by the end of that one. Simon Frelick, by the way, is right behind his teammate Andy Flint then. So Andy Flint, is he going to be cooperative here? Or is he going to see Simon Frelick as just like any other driver and give him a bit of a hard scrap, as Simon has gained 3 places off the grid, much the same as Stefan Dodderer lower down in 14th. He's also gained 3 places. So they are all the joint highest gainers so far in this race. But Simon Frelick, I think he knows he needs to get deep into the top 10 here if he wants to keep gaining ground in that championship, especially with Tony Jimenez looking good for 2nd position at the present moment. Kevin Zemstra has started to slightly fight back the gap, 1.2 seconds, but at the moment, Sandström has got this race all to himself then, as we look at Dodderer trying to go for another move, this time on Joseph Mark Lucas, and they're going 3 wide in the background between Ridgeway and Rosario.
Yeah, they're going there as well. They've settled it down a bit. Ridgeway looks like he's made his way through. Chris Patel is off the side of the circuit. Mackenzie Rune's trying to come around the outside now of the final corner. Turn 16 of Coca-Cola. Rune's not going to make it past Ben Goyette this time, but it is going to be a straight run down that start-finish line now. You can see in front Richard Van Veen as well is in there, and it's all going to be kicking off very, very shortly. Bart-Jan van der Laan is behind him in the yellow machine as well. Rune looking up the inside, nothing doing from there. Flips him over, takes the MRP for a drive.
Oh, that was really unlucky for Richard Van Veen. Van der Laan, the wheel, he was trying to stay on the outside there, and either Van der Laan didn't see him, or arguably Bart Jan should really have backed out of that one.
Look at this.
The consequences were disastrous.
Yeah, the spin, the violentness of it as well. It was almost like the contact was fine, and then they had a big old dose of internet in the middle that flipped it round about another 4 times.
Fancy rubber wheel as well.
Yeah, it was
as he
very
landed on
bizarre.
the ground.
I hope he ain't got a direct drive or anything in there, because that would have absolutely killed his wrist at that point. There as well. So yeah, very tough. And Guines also in pit lane. Baskowski is at the moment. Pulsifier also there, lost some time as these guys continue to fight out in 11th and 12th. We've got Yunus Amal trying to put pressure here on Kevin Webster, but he's got 1.4 seconds and he's got Cornu behind him with Olazwinski as well. Look at Varani in there still fighting out in the championship. Behind that is Ludovic Rancon, Andy Flint. Here comes Simon Freilich though, up 3 places, Ed, looking very, very quick.
Indeed it is. It definitely feels like Simon either didn't quite get the practice in that he needed going into quali and is now just really starting to find his rhythm, or he's just really taking a little that group position was not really his true pace either way. But yeah, Andy Flint now starting to feel the pressure, but look at this, here comes Rancon picking off Varani for 7th position crucially, going up the inside. Yeah, I think he is.
Oh, he did, but boy, oh boy, he went in deep there, Ed. Going in deep's never good down into turn 1, mate, because I've seen it before. You've seen it before. It normally ends up in absolute disaster. But he did and managed to get the car stopped for a little bit, Rancon, and now look at Varani down in 8th, back where he started on the grid.
Here's the interesting point though, James. Rancon, not in the championship, can afford to take big risks and knows that Luca Varani, second in the points at the present moment if you drop do 1 drop score. If you do no drop scores, Varani's actually been the most consistent leading the championship, funnily enough. But so he's got the most to lose really from this, whereas Rancon can afford to go for those dives. And this puts Varani only 2 places now ahead of his title rival Simon Freilich here. So it's absolutely game on, but Freilich has still got Rankiewicz just giving him a really hard time at the moment. He's not even thought about attacking Andy Flint just yet.
He's not able to, is he? Rankiewicz riding behind him and putting him on under all sorts of pressure. See, jumping onto the nose there, coming into the left-hander of Kuhn curve, going around big curve now, through the right-hander on the run up into Bogan before we get into that final Vidal chicane. But you see on the nose of Rankiewicz tucked up now. There is Simon Freilich. We're going to pull him in, we're going to pull him in, we're going to pull him in, we're going to pull out, we're going to give a little dummy, little feint, and we're going to almost hit him right up the rear end.
Yeah, Rankiewicz really got caught out there, and he needs to be careful because Chris Bell is still tucked in right behind him, and he's dragging Dodderer and Mark Lucas along with him. Additionally, as well, as we see Olazewski, and Olazewski losing that podium to Zemstra in the closing stages. Now he's on the move, picking off Denny Cornu for 5th position there, and that move is done well before they get to the corner there, and Cornu has to tuck into 6th, just ahead of his teammate Rancon.
Yeah, he did just tuck him right behind him. Oh, you almost got the run back out for Denny Cornu, but he didn't quite get it through there, unfortunately. He's now going through the right-hander of turn 5 on the run down RTL, coming into turn 6. Yes, but is from outer space. I completely agree with you, Trickery, on that one. I gotta be honest, after watching him last week, I agree. Just a shame he can't turn up every week. Otherwise, he'd probably, most likely, win the championship if he was here.
Or even just most weeks.
Yeah, any weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, whatever, however many weeks we can get him on track. We just can't keep him on track long enough at this moment in time for Jesper Sandström. So unfortunately, he is where he is. But you see the mistake from Olazewski there. We're right on the nose of Denny Cornu. Through the left-hander we go. Schumacher Essence on the run up into Kuhn curve. Are we going to make it here for Denny Cornu? Not this time, Eddie's sitting right behind him.
Yeah, Cornu really biding his time, and Rancon, you know, is right in there too, in case his teammate ahead of him slips up. But we also saw Stefan Dodderer picked off Chris Bell for 12th. One of the fastest people on track are Sandström, Jimenez, Zemstra, Amal. As you see, here comes Denny Cornu up the inside of Olazewski into the final chicane there. So yes, he was waiting for his best opportunity. Olazewski left the door open, and through he goes. The only other driver that's in the 147s at the moment is Mackenzie Roon, who's just picked off Robert Ridgway for 16th, and he's now closing the 3-second gap to Rabiard then. So Roon is the only driver that's really matching the pace of the leaders at the moment, that's a little bit further down.
It's going to clear Rabiard for Mackenzie Roon. Fibard Rabiard did do this one. And unfortunately, coming into that final corner, was there contact with the car in front? Yes. And unfortunately, he's gone off, and that sees Mackenzie Room go through. Robert Ridgway, Sonny Rosario, and Bart-Jan van der Laan has also gone through. So, yeah, now Roon is up into 15, closing down on Joseph Marlukas. He's got about 3 seconds to do it. But Luca Barani in this pack with a little bit rank on Olazwinski, Dennis Cornu, and Yunus Hamau all fighting out here. 5, well, we got 2, 4, 6 cars having a good old scrap, and I expect these to be together for the next probably 20 laps.
Indeed they are. So we got the two Scuderia Racing Forces cars at the back of Flint and Frelick, or the Scuderia Racing Forces and the Hydro Race Racing Forces, the Racing Forces cars essentially. And then of course we've got the Unity cars of Amal, Cornu and Ranson as well in the scrap too, along with of course Jakub Olazewski. So two different teams, all a big part of this, and Varani of course looking to try and stay ahead of Frelick really in the middle of this. That's really his main target today, because I think Tony Jimenez is a little bit out of reach on this occasion. After a bad round at Imola, Varani really needs to strike back. He did perform well, but the result in the end, having collided with Cornu, did not go in his favour. And now he is trying to pick off his teammate Ranson, who is really providing some good rearguard action here, and in fact is allowing Olazewski and Cornu to escape up the road a little bit.
You know, the problem is they've now got this draft effect, this draft train, this draft situation, isn't it, where they're literally one gets it in front, then the next one, then the next one, then the next one. It's going to take a dive and a half from somebody there as well. Looks like Olazwinski almost get a buddy run, and Cornu coming out of turn 1 through the left-hander or 2 into Mercedes Arena. The left-hander, is he going to be able to do anything here? Nope, he's got to be coming out of 3, going through the right-hander at 4. Then we've got 5, then we've got the rundown RTL. Is he going to be able to do anything into turn 6? It's looking highly unlikely that he is going to be able to do anything here. And can he get him down into Dunlop, into Ford Curb? Sorry, nope, not this time. Could it be Dunlop, Ed?
He's a little bit too far back, isn't he? Would need a mistake from Cornu then, and Cornu has certainly gained a lot of confidence from his strong performance, wasn't it? Fighting Jimenez and Varani last week at Circuit Enzo Edino Ferrari in Imola, of course. You can tell he's not going to be too intimidated by Olazewski, of course. You never know. Of course, all this battling is really playing into the hands of Amal, who's now nearly 3 seconds up the road from this lot, and he's actually started to close a little bit on Zemstra, the gap 1.5 seconds there. So I wouldn't count out Yunus Amal for a podium here. He can keep up with the pace of Zemstra as both the Racing Forces cars go really, really wide at the Hazenbeck's Boden as they go downhill. And Simon Frelick just dipping into the gravel as he tries to take lots of risks to pass his teammate Andy Flint. And here comes Mark Lucas trying to make a move for 13th on Chris Bell late on the inside. And Chris Bell leaves plenty of room but gets the cutback. Yeah. He's going to try and go up the inside the last corner. Yeah, he's going to get the cutback on the inside here. Chris Bell, almost contact. Ooh. Big slide from the red on white. And Marlboro McLaren-esque machine goes all the way down now. It's going to take to the left-hand side. We've got Mark Lucas on the right in the 79. Chris Bell in the 16. It's a straight drag between both of these cars. Who's going to be big and brave on the brakes down into turn 1? Chris Bell going to hold that inside line. Mark Lucas locks up the front right. You saw it not rotating. That's not going to help. That allowed Chris Bell to get up front. You get a non-rotating wheel on a four-wheel car. Not ideal. Yeah, not at all. And I think Chris Bell, the VRL livery, independent entry course, is asymmetrical. Red on the right-hand side, white on the left-hand side on the front wing there. And a lot of scratches on that front nose cone. So Chris Bell has certainly had to get physical to hold on to that 13th position there. But a good battle here with Mark Lucas. Sadly, Dodera, from Bell's perspective anyway, Dodera has really been flying in this race. Still 7/10 behind Rakivec in their sort of back sort of finish in the 11th position as they've sort of dropped off the back of Simon Frelick now. But look at this, Rankon really he's trying to overtake Olazewski before Varani is up the inside of him as well. So he's sort of in an unenviable sandwich, essentially. Here is Ludovic Rankson.
Yeah, he is at the moment, and unfortunately for Rankon, he's not really sure. It's a really difficult scenario. We talk about this at certain points as well, because Varani's just about to pull out, trying to make that move now as well. No, Varani tucks in right behind him. Rankon wants to go forward, but he's got to have one eye on Luca Varani behind him, and he ends up stuck between a rock and a hard place, doesn't he? He wants to go forward, but he's got to defend at the same time.
Yeah, he was almost 2 tenths faster than Oleszewski the previous lap. This lap he's a tenth slower then, so you can tell Jakub Oleszewski is really starting to, after challenging Cornu early, he's starting to struggle a little bit, isn't he? And yeah, that's starting to turn things around on him. As we get back to Mackenzie Roon, now in 15th position. He's caught up to, is that his teammate Joseph Mark Lucas? Certainly very similar livery, yeah. And now Chris Bell is backing Mark Lucas into the clutches of Mackenzie Roon here. So Mark Lucas has got to make the move quickly if he wants to get into 13th.
Yeah, we've got Mackenzie Roon from Get Good. Don't think Mark Lucas is from the same team, mind you. He's got
okay, so it's a similar livery.
Similar livery, yeah, but it isn't part of, I don't believe, the part of the Get Good team, as he has closed right on, recovering early on from his spin. Mackenzie Roon is kind of a head-down situation. Get on with it and see how you go, I think. Go and have as much fun as you can. Mark Lucas has gone on the inside of Chris Bell, has managed to make it through. Is Roon going to make it through? On board now with Chris Bell through the Schumacher S's, through the left, then we're going to go with the right. I've got a funny feeling Roon is here somewhere, tucked in right behind us. He's trying to follow us whilst Joseph Mark Lucas not going to be able to get it done this time, either into the left-hander, then into the right outpit curve, but at the moment, Mackenzie Roon's recovering well.
Yeah, and unfortunately, because Roon is not able to get through just yet, it's allowing Robert Ridgway to close on this battle as Mark Lucas keeps defending, and up the inside comes Mackenzie Roon. Is he going to try a double move here? This would be ambitious. Surely not, but he has picked off Chris Bell, going clean around the outside of the chicane, and here comes Ridgway.
Yeah, Ridgway's trying to have a go as well. Is he going to be able to get through? Nope, not at the moment. This is going to be a straight drag again from Mackenzie Roon down on Mark Lucas. Is he going to be able to close it in? The gap's closing in behind Ridgway. You might see a double here. Ridgway's going to go, Roon's going to go. Who's going to be blader and braver on the brakes? It's going to be Mackenzie Roon. We're on board with Robert Ridgway. It looks like he's able to clear Chris Bell at the same time. Fibard Rabelard looks also like he's having a nice little bit of a battle. And as I say about poor old Chris Bell, he's gone and done this. How did you end up doing this? Going into that corner, did you spin up on your own? No. Front right to rear left tyre there for Robert Ridgway.
Yeah, Chris Bell, I think, was going for a gap there that was always going to close on Robert Ridgway there. And luckily, Robert Ridgway did not get spun around, as well as Denny Cornu picks off Yunus Amal for 4th place. So in that massive train there, it looks like Amal has really made a mistake and is starting to struggle now, because Cornu picked him up very, very easily there. What I was just about to say about Mackenzie Roon, he's done really well not to let that spin earlier sap his confidence, because he dropped 14 places. Now he's only dropped 9, as it feels like everybody going off track at the top of the hill there. Varani, Fleet and Frelick.
Yeah, all 3 of them going up at the same time. Frelick with the most violent looking one, I've got to be honest.
Following what the two in front of him are doing.
Yeah, it looked like they were all kind of that driver tunnel vision, and I've been there multiple times before, you know what I mean, with the driver tunnel vision, and you do end up, unfortunately, following the person off. It's rubbish, and you feel like a right pleb, but unfortunately, it's something that everybody's done, and at the moment, these 4 cars are separated by the next 3 of Rani, Flint, and Frelick. Then you've got Rakovic, Dodderer, Mackenzie Roon now, trying to close down on Stefan Dodderer, but he wants to escape Mark Lucas as much as physically possible, but Yunus Amal with Jakub Oleszewski in the mix at the same time, and they're continuing to fight it out side by side through turn 3, coming through the right-hander, and Amal does manage to hold on. It looks like Chris Patel, Sonny Rosario has been off the side of the circuit and had a little bit of a drama, but this battle's hotting up here as well.
Yeah, it looks like they're both out, sadly, so terminal contact in that instance, but Yunus Amal really under attack here, desperately trying to use some of the slipstream from Denny Cornu to see off Oleszewski, and now Ranson fancies a go on the Polish driver up the inside into Dunlop corner. Let's see if this works out. It's not worked out for Ranson. He's gone in the gravel.
Oh, dear me. Unfortunately for a little bit of Rancon. He goes round. The question is, I do wonder if there was contact.
Went to the inside. They did make contact,
yeah.
Yes.
And unfortunately for Rancon, around he goes. He's now dropped all the way down into 11th. All that hard work has just gone poof like Harry Potter up a chimney. Unfortunately for a little bit Rancon, he has gone on that one, but it does leave Andy Flint, Simon Frelick, Luca Varani to still battle it out. Olezwinski dropped back a little bit from Amal and Denny Cornu. So those guys are still opening up here as well. Mark Lucas still not letting Mackenzie Roon break away. He's really trying to get onto the back of Stefan Dodderer here, but unfortunately for Rancon, for Mackenzie Roon, he has got Lucas just putting in pressure after pressure after pressure, and it's not allowing him to get away, where you would have thought the right thing for Mark Lucas to do was you would surely let Mackenzie Roon go, wouldn't it? Or just try and stay with him.
Yeah, Mackenzie Roon is still lapping in the low 147s. Mark Lucas, being tucked in behind, has actually upped his pace, setting a personal best on that lap, 147.8, a tenth quicker. So actually he's using the back of Mackenzie Roon like a yo-yo, isn't he, or a magnet or something, just to sort of up his own pace a little bit. So actually Mark Lucas is doing the best thing for his race. He's not really challenging Mackenzie Roon, at least not close enough to challenge in the braking zones. And I think he knows naturally Roon has just got the pace on a lot of these midfield runners that he would be ahead of if he hadn't spun out on the first lap of the race then. Luca Varani also setting a personal best, 148.2 in 7th as he tries now with Ranson out the way. He's got a clear run at Olszewski as they're also stuck behind Amal, who actually has got back within 6/10 of Denny Corner and has regrouped a little bit. So they're about 5 seconds behind Zemstra, so it's all just a private battle for, I say private, it's got about 5 or 6 cars involved in the form of Cornu, Amal, Olszewski, Varani, Andy Flint, Simon Frelick, who are all within less than a second of each other, basically.
Yeah, striking distance, I think the word is there, or what we can use. Frelick there, you can see he's closing into the back end of Andy Flint. Flint's closing into the back of Varani. Varani and Oleszwinski are in there. Eunice Amal, Denny Cornu up the road. There goes Cornu there in front. And then we've got 2.9 now. Rakovic closing in with a little bit Rancon, but he's also bringing Stefan Dodderer, who's got Mackenzie Roon 3.1 back. This could be possible if they all keep closing in like this. We could have a 10-car fight going on.
Yeah, and this is great news for Mackenzie Roon because he just keeps gaining time on the likes of Dodderer and Rancon. The more they're all being stuck behind Rakovic and the more the group ahead is being stuck behind Denny Cornu, the better it is for him as well. Although there is now a 1.5 second gap between Amal and Oleszewski, so not a great lap from the Polish driver there as he's really feeling the pressure from Varani behind him. Somebody who also might be feeling the pressure, they're setting very, very similar lap times. Tony Jimenez and Kevin Zemstra. Sandstrom, he is basically checked out at the hotel and left a long time ago. Jimenez is only 1.5 seconds ahead of Kevin Zemstra. And we know Kevin Zemstra has this habit of just charging in the second half of races, keeping the tyres alive, and then just getting another position on the podium in those sort of last couple of stages. I don't think Kevin has had any wins so far this season, but he has had a second place at Sebring, of course. And he is one of the more consistent drivers. Tends to struggle a little bit in qualifying, but he's also got 3 third places as well, and the pole at Brazil as well, funnily enough. To remember Jose Carlos Pache at round 8 a couple of rounds ago as well. So yeah, Zemstra's certainly not one to count out here. And Tony Jimenez, another driver that's been really, really consistent, but certainly not the overall fastest. Although he's putting a Simon Frelick-like performance like we saw in Imola at the moment, where he's just really had second to himself so far as Sandstrom sets another fastest lap of the race, 147.3, and not a single one of these drivers has an answer to that. He is absolutely superb today.
Yeah, he's flying. Sandstrom absolutely flying out in front there. Cornu with Amal closing in. We've got Jakub Oleszwinski. He's got Varani, Flint and Frelick closing in behind him. Don't really want to take too much of them curbs there, dear sir. And in the background, as you've just seen him go round the corner, Rakovic with Rancon, Dodderer and Mackenzie Roon. 2.6 back now for Roon, pulled out. He's pulling out quite a lot of time at the moment over Dodorero in front. You can see he's got 1.1, 4 temps. He's taken a chunk out of him here. 2.6, well, it's about 2.2 seconds over the last 4 laps, and we've still got 14 to go. Surely he can get right up there, can't he?
You would think so, yeah, but the problem is laps run out, and unfortunately bad news for Chris Bell, because he was right behind this battle, wasn't he? He's had to come into the pit. I believe he's serving a drive-through penalty for maybe corner cutting or something of that nature, which is a big shame for Chris, because he was having a solid race up to that point, doing some good defensive driving. Amal is right behind Denny Corner at the present moment and is really pushing at the moment. So the Moroccan has refound his mode, whatever he lost a couple of laps ago that let Cornu through. He's found it again, and he's really regained his confidence as Varani. This time Varani and Flint go in the gravel. This time Frelick does not, actually. So Frelick will be a little bit closer to his teammate Andy Flint then. But yeah, Yunus Amal. It's great to see someone who has the pace, but maybe is making a couple of mistakes. They make less and less mistakes as they put a bit more practice in, hone their craft a little bit, and Yunus Amal is certainly somebody who's been doing that, and he really fancies a top 4. That would be a big deal for this young driver.
Yeah, if he can get it going down here as well, he's not going to be able to get it this time down into turn 1. I think it's a little bit too far back. On the brakes, he's going to go through the right-hander, puts it in the dip, gets a nice run out of turn 1. It looks like he's got the job done over corner already, and that was it, job done. We've lost Stefan Dodora. Oh, man. What did you do, Stefan?
I think he picked do not resuscitate instead of resuscitate racing.
Oh, so slow and awkward. It's one of them that you can see happening and you're just like, oh, come on, let me get this back. And it just goes and around you go. It's so horrible situation.
Yeah, such a clumsy spin, but at least Stefan is still in the race, and he lost a couple of positions to, I think, Rune and Lucas, wasn't it, that have got through there. So Mackenzie Rune, his rise and his redemption through the order continues then. Next target, Ranchon, who of course is 2.6 seconds up the road. So Mackenzie Rune, I think, is top 10 could very much be on. He just keeps this pace. He's not been out of the 147s ever since that spin. He's just seemed very, very determined, hasn't he, as we see him motoring along. And Ransom, by the way, has picked off Rakjavik for 10th. So it looks like Rakjavik has hit trouble.
Yeah, behind is Joseph Mark Lucas on that one for Mackenzie Rune.
There they are.
Front there is Rakjavik. He literally pulled in chunks of time over him as well. I think it was a bit of a messy overtake that had taken place there, because I can tell you what, Mackenzie Rune is not what we said about 2 minutes ago behind these guys. He's closing in on them both. And I do wonder whether or not there's been a little bit of contact. Rune's just about to run up the inside. Is he going to get the job done coming out the final corner? He is, but you can see Rakjavik's got the slipstream at the moment. In fact, Rankon has gone over and given it to Mackenzie Rune. He's picked his horse now. Rune's coming at him as well, going down into turn 1. He's going to get the job done over Rakjavik. He carries so much more speed. What about Rankon? Is he going to be able to get past him as well? I don't know if this is a matter of if or when. I'm not quite sure which way round this is going to go.
Yeah, Ranson certainly has not really looked his usual self since that spin up the inside of, I think it was Olazewski into Dunlop, wasn't it? And now you can tell he's just going right for the middle of the road to try and hold on, but round the outside into turn 6 goes Mackenzie Rune.
Oh,
fabulous move.
Big slap. Rakjavik had a massive moment. It's a clean-up on aisle 5 for Andre Rakjavik. He literally snapped that car and he managed to hold on to it, but boy oh boy, that must have absolutely scared the heebie-bejeebies out of him as he was going on the racetrack there, because that could have quite easily ended up in a very, very bad way. But for Mark Lucas, who saw that, what a move. I know. Oh, and I know. It was incredible. From Mackenzie Rune, he's now on his bike, which is what we did predict. But these three still got time on their hands, still going to have a right little ding dong. And if Rakjavik has a moment like he just did, though, I do fear for him, Ed. It could be another moment. Oh,
yeah,
one position.
Be careful. It's Mark Lucas really looking intent on diving one up the inside at the final chicane, isn't he? Which is, of course, Vidal and turn 15 just after it then. But this time, looks like Rakjavik getting his wild side under control and settling in to 13th position there as Mark Lucas still getting very, very close as they enter the final corner there. So Sandstrom, another fastest lap of the race. Tony Jimenez has set personal best as he tries to pull away from Zemstra. And Oleszewski has also set a personal best as he tries to get out of a second range from Luca Varani. Oh, and Mark Lucas having a nibble up the inside, but nowhere near close enough to make a dive there. And yeah, if I was Simon Frelick, seeing the pace that Mackenzie Rune's got, I would be feeling a little bit worried. I wouldn't feel comfortable about that 6.5 second gap.
I'll tell you what though, when Frelick's on his day, he has got the pace enough. When he's on his day, he can do it as well. Ratkovic's trying to make the move on the inside now. Is he going to be able to get through? Over Rancon is not. Mark Lucas is going to go and spin it around the outside. Now he's going to try to cut back, coming on the other way. He's got to get in the inside. Dunlop's is a right-hander. If Lucas can get that inside line, he might be able to get it. No, he had to be big and brave on the brakes there as well. He just didn't quite muster it this time around. But I tell you what, Doddle is in the background as well. He's joined the party. If they're all going to have a party, you can't forget Stefan Dodderer in that bright yellow machine in the background there as well. He's come to play now. This is going to be a very interesting four-way.
It certainly is. And look at this. Is that Branson having seen Mackenzie Room drive around the outside of him? Oh my goodness me, and Mark Lucas is the big loser there. Through goes Dodderer up the inside, and he may not be done yet, James. He's going for Rakovic.
Oh, tell you what. Oh, he's going to both. Oh my God, blimey, I thought he was going both of them. Stefan Dodderer, I thought it was going to be all. Oh no, don't go three wide. Oh, Rakovic's in the pit lane. He's had to go in the pits. I don't know if that's purely for. Oh, the Rakovic's gone round. Oh, that's put Dodderer in the wall. And in a matter of seconds, it has put like Harry Potter. Rakovic's in the pit lane. Dodderer's had a spin and is hit Rancon. And that battle was just depleted in a way that none of us wanted to see it gone that way. But it did. Rancon goes round. Dodderer gives him a smack for good health. And unfortunately, he's ended up in the wall, broke. Rakovic's going down the pit lane, and within a matter of seconds, Ed, that battle's gone from exciting to absolutely nothing.
Oh, Stefan Dodderer didn't have bad luck, he'd had no luck, wouldn't he? And given you keep making Harry Potter vanishing claims, I think we know what advent calendar you've got in the post, James. But anyway, Luca Varani.
Oh, God.
Yeah. But anyway, we cut back to Luca Varani then, chasing down Oleszewski as it does look like Chris Bell is, it looks like Zomator has had made a huge mistake because Chris Bell and Ben Goyette have picked him off for 17th and 18th after they've not had the cleanest of races themselves. But yeah, of course, that spin for Rancon has really broken the pack up, and Mackenzie Rune now has really just got clear track in which he can do his thing. Interestingly, Simon Frelick has now finally got into the 1:47.7s. Problem is, by the time he's got into this pace, so have the drivers he's fighting with, of course.
Yeah.
So in the form of Andy Flint, who went a tenth faster the previous lap, getting the slipstream from the back of Varani. So yeah, it's been a little bit of a stalemate, isn't it? Of course, Amal and Denny Corner swapped positions a couple of times, but Oleszewski onwards have all sort of been stuck roughly where they qualified. Maybe the Malta Scania only a couple of places. Yeah,
there's Bart-Jan van der Laan. He's clearing down, closing in on Patrick Williams. I'm keeping an eye on the Rancon's in pit lane, which I'm probably going to have something to do with the damage that he took after Stefan Dodderer just fucked him coming out of the last corner. Not on purpose, mind you. There wasn't a lot of places for Dodderer to be able to go unless he's got cat-like reflexes, and I don't think that's quite the possibility. And Luca Varani has got Flint tucked in. Mackenzie Rune closing on Frelick, but it's got quite a little bit of a while before he gets there. He's about 6 seconds back. Ben Goyette has just come out, Rancon's just come out the pit, sorry, and Goyette has just come out down the start-finish straight, so they're now side by side going in through turn number 3, in through a Mercedes. Gets the job done, does he, or is Rancon still there? There he is, and Rancon makes it through, but Luca Varani can't shift Andy Flint at the moment. Andy Flint is staying close, but not really making that move.
Yeah, you can tell Simon Frelick is really hoping Andy Flint gets through here so he can back Varane into him. But here comes Andy Flint. He's looked closer than he has for a long, long while. Is he going to risk it then into Vidal? Round he goes.
No!
Oh, and there goes Andy Flint. That was just a little bit too eager on the throttle there.
Yeah, Andy Flynn, unfortunately, auditioning for Swan Lake there with that beautiful pirouette for him. And I know he'll watch it back after, and I know he'll have a chuckle to himself there once more. But Danny Cordu still chasing down Jonas Amau, who have not left each other alone. We got Bart-Jan van der Laan and Patrick Williams. Then we got Van Veen, Aaron Law, and Linus Marm. They're closing in towards the back end. They're having a nice little battle back down here. In fact, I want to check in with them at this moment in time as they're going into the left-hander on board with the MRP, Bart-Jan van der Laan. And then we've got Aaron Law in the Jamaican. Aaron. Maybe I shouldn't check in with people towards the back end.
Oh dear. And he's not had the greatest of rejoins there. As look at this, Patrick Williams and Bart-Jan van der Laan. Remember that, was it Patrick, it was Williams that made that brilliant double move, wasn't it, at Piratella?
Yep.
Last time out at Imola. It was Patrick Williams. He's got a very similar last name, but he's just about been able to keep Bart-Jan van der Laan at bay there, and they've been basically side by side for several corners there before the American prevailed, and they almost touched there, and in fact Patrick Williams gets well out the throttle, and around the outside goes van der Laan.
You know, the weirdest thing about that was that, why did we get that? Yeah, why did
he think that? Was there contact earlier that maybe he felt a bit guilty for, and he decided to let you through that? Yeah.
Maybe.
That felt like, I just want to race cleanly with you, so I'll let you through, and then attack again, and this time get through legitimately.
Well, a bit of a problem, because van der Laan looks, no offence here, Pat, of course, if you watch it back, I do apologise. It does look a little bit quicker. So, yeah, it seems a little bit confusing as to why that would be. Aaron Lara, obviously, we saw had that incident, Yunus Amal, with Danny Corley now. We've still got 7 laps to go, Ed. I feel like we've been at this for quite a while, and we've still got 7 laps remaining. Are we expecting this field to come back together?
A little bit. Depends. Yunus Amal under a lot of pressure, isn't he, from Denny Cornu, his old sparring partner here. He's really held up well to this pressure. He had a bit of a stumble in the first quarter of the race, but he's regrouped, recollected himself, dusted himself off, and he's not really put a foot wrong since. And yeah, there's Denny Cornu's just not been able to find a way through. So Amal, if he has to get more defensive though, it could allow Oleszewski to get involved. I think Varani's just that little bit too much further back. Although of course Simon Frelick still 1.3 behind him. And then, of course, you've got Andy Flint and Mackenzie Roon. So Mackenzie Roon less than 3 seconds behind Flint after Flint's spin as well. So we've sort of got 4 Americans in a row. Flint, Roon, Mark Lucas and Ridgway all fighting just on the fringes and the bottom end of the top 10 as well.
Oh, no. Ludovic Rancon has had a problem. And so does Ben Goyette behind him from the MRP car.
Oh, immediately on the brakes.
Oh, then immediately trying to spin it up. Goyette, nowhere to go. And unfortunately comes round straight into the back. I can see why Rancon's done what he's tried to do, but I don't know if maybe staying where he is might have been a little bit better. Waskowski goes off. How did they all end up going off? Oh, wow. Hold on, he didn't just
arm, he just punted off there.
Yeah.
Oh,
touchdown for Andrew Soskowski as Linus Marm has just gone off into somewhere, into the shadow realm. And I'm pretty sure, he ain't going to be happy with this. Watch this, he just gets bumped.
Minding his own business on the outside. He had the corner, gets the rear wing ripped off and gets thrown into the grandstand almost there.
Yeah, that's a direct back to pit lane there, and I think you might have some explaining to do, Mr. Woskowski there. Brazilian by, obviously, country, but I don't think very Senna-esque on that one,
I think Senna would totally do that sort of thing. Remember when he hit Alain Prost off to win the championship at Suzuka 1990?
Did he, or did they just run into the side of each other because neither of them wanted to give up for the space?
I think Ayrton did admitted a year later that he did it deliberately, didn't he?
Of course he did it deliberately. It's like Schumacher did it with Hill, didn't he? And punched him into the side.
I guess
as well. So, they've all done it at some point and gone, what?
Both cases, those were for championships, whereas
this was
Andre there was
I don't know where
fighting
it was.
over 22nd.
Yeah, but he's just saw a little bit of red mist. There's a little bit of centre ancestry come through on him, didn't he? And off he went there as well. If gap car, if not, no gap, make gap with car. So, Andrzej Wieckowski there as well. 147.051 from Jesse Sandstrom. Haven't really spoken much about him, partly because we haven't seen him. He's gone piff, paff, puff, and off he's gone. Up the road there for Sandstrom, 10 seconds. Now, gap starting to appear. It looks like Simon Frelick may have just made an absolute boo-boo. And now has got Rune closing in on him.
Yeah, he's let Andy Flint back through.
I don't think he had a choice. Don't think he had a choice. On the curb, round he goes, and unfortunately, wow, nice pirouette there, son. And through he goes, and Andy Flint comes along. That's going to bring Mackenzie Rune 2 seconds back into this. We'll keep an eye on this. Track's fairly spread out at the moment. Well, I missed most of the race this week. Oh, Ali, where you been, son? Hope it's been worth missing there, buddy. You're normally here every single week. I missed you. It's like I felt a piece of my heart get ripped away, Ali, and you were no longer with me. But now you've showed up, I feel complete on that one. So there we go. Mackenzie, I don't know. I think I've had too much coffee today, to be plainly honest. Moving forward as much as he can. Got himself within that top 10 after that early mistake.
Yeah, certainly. That will boost his spirits a little bit, and he will certainly... being able to catch up to Simon Frelick and pass him would be a big David versus Goliath moment, especially after Rune, of course, had that spin on the first lap while running in the top 5. So top 9 in the circumstances really, really good, but of course he would have hoped to do ever so slightly better. But certainly, so a little bit mixed, but a fantastic recovery so far from Mackenzie Rune. He's made some superb moves. Yeah, Simon Frelick is more than likely going to be looking not just in his mirrors, but very much over his shoulder and slightly get defensive in these final 4 laps. Meanwhile, Jesper Sandstrom is really, really pushing to try and break into the 146s, which is unheard of and completely insane. He's been, if anything, even more dominant than he was in Imola, where he won by 9 seconds. He's already 10 seconds ahead of Tony Jimenez, and I have a feeling that gap's going to get bigger, not smaller, before this is over, as it looks like Patrick Williams has found his way back past Bart-Jan van der Laan.
That could have something to do with the fact that Van der Laan took a trip off the side of the circuit. There we go. And did you? Oh, mate, look at that rallycross-esque from Van der Laan there as well. He should be in a little Beetle or a Ford Fiesta or a Subaru Impreza on that one rather than the Super Formula Lights, but a great job from him, kept it going forward, which is always good. Recovered back on track behind Williams, now down in 15th with Williams up the road there in 14th. Closest battle, I'd say battle, but it's teetering out a little bit there for Eunice Hamel and Danny Cornu. Cornu losing a little bit of time over the last few laps, so it'll be interesting to see how much time he's lost. Let's go back to Cornu. Oh, what's he lost? 2 tenths, 2.5. Quick maps, 3, 4, about 4 tenths over the last 4 laps, and it could explain why Amel's gap is out at 7 tenths at the moment.
Yeah, that's still catchable, but Amel's just kept him just about at arm's length for pretty much the entire second half of the race. I have to admit, when I saw Bart going off track there and just about avoiding the wall, my first thought was, whoa, Blackberry Van der Laan. He's a terrible pun there.
Oh, dude, I love that song. That's awesome.
I've been waiting for an excuse to say that, but Bart usually keeps it very, very clean. But that was the craziest moment I've seen from BJ VDL for so far.
God, that was a mouthful. It was easier probably saying his name than his initials.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Slightly less dodgy too, you're right.
Yeah. Absolutely. Richard Van Veen from MRB has got onto the back of Pat Rowlands, who is in 9th place. 9th place, he's in number 9 car, 20th place, sorry, on that one. As he
That's a big difference.
Yeah, massive difference there. Don't.
Whoa.
Oh, no, Van Veen. I told you, every time I go down towards the people at the back, they make mistakes. I'm going to go up to someone's motto. He's having a nice little tidy one. He's got the recovering Ludovic Rancon, who has been into the pit lane and back out to get fast repairs. You can see everybody else above 18th onwards are quite far away. If they're white, it means they're well over a second away from each other at the moment. Don't forget, join us for next time out, guys. We've got next week's one at the Hockenheim Ring. That should be exciting, shouldn't it?
Yeah, title decider. And at the moment, it's going to be very, very close. I think Jimenez, we haven't talked much about Tony Jimenez, but he's, if anything, slightly extended the gap to Zemstra, and he's been looking very, very solid in second. He's going to get good points here as Ranton picks off Zoltan Zomator at the first corner there. So Ludovic, who's had two big offs in this race, that's cost him a lot of time, kind of needed to get back to the top 19 there to at least raise his spirits a bit, and now he's into 18th then, going to try and chase down Ben Goyette, which I think is probably about the upper limit of what he's going to be able to do in the last 3 laps, because there's a nearly 10-second gap between Goyette and Chris Bell.
yeah. Rancon, of course, and Goyette at their last little moment. Ali Sandstrom looks like he'll be contesting for the chairman. If he was here, Ali, if he just turned up for 6 out of 12 or something like that. You know, this is an extra leap year week. This is, you know, we've got 13 races this season, but he just hasn't shown up, and that's the problem for Jesper Sandstrom. He's been there for 1 race at Imola and this one, and he's done a great job. You are Harry Pottering all of these guys. I'm sorry, Trickery. It really is not my fault. I click on them because they're battling and they just go poof themselves. It really is not completely down to me, mate, unfortunately. We say it's a skill issue, Trickery. Skill issue, not a commentator issue. Right, Ed? Back me up.
Yeah. I just see what it's got, other than there being a big castle in the background, which even then is kind of German history, not Harry Potter. I don't really see what the relevance, other than using magic wand to make people disappear. And in this case, they're not disappearing, they're making mistakes. As I say that, Ludwika Ranson's internet goes a little bit on the fritz, which is also probably something you have to deal with. Yeah. So I'm immediately disproven there. I guess magic is real after all.
Ed trying to Harry Potter Rancon off the side of the circuit. Yeah, he showed up 2 races and dominated. I agree with you. I agree with you. Ali, you don't need to tell me. He's going up the inside. Ben Goyette is like, no, not this time, mate. You can have all the room in the world there. Come into my house. Sit on my sofa. While you're there, I'll get my wife to cook your dinner as well. And Rancon
he wasn't going near that one with the 10-foot pole, was he?
He definitely was not. Oh, no, that one. So, yeah, Rancon makes his way forward on that one. Goyette and Zoltan Zamoda are continuing together. We've got Richard Van Veen trying to close back up onto the back of Patrick Rowlands, but he's sliding that car quite rapidly. He wants to ease up on that one. But yeah, you are right. I think this is the thing. If this man could at least attend half of the races, I think he might be right up there. I think probably 8. If he won all 8 that he attended, Ed, I think he'd win the championship even with 8 wins.
Yeah, I suppose so as well. We'll have to see over the course of, if he does next season, how many races he does, and B, if he can keep this up, because it's one thing jumping in at the end of a championship, blowing everyone away. It's quite another when everyone's done their homework and is ready to strike back at you when you're the hunted rather than the hunter. It's a slightly different mentality. But of course, taking nothing away from Jesper Sandstrom, he's been really, really impressive on 2 very, very different types of circuit here. And yeah, Tony Jimenez, 12.5 seconds in arrears. He's just thinking about the championship, because the race win is more than long gone then, as we cut back to Van Veen trying to pick off Patrick Rowlands for 20th position.
Well, the thing is as well, for Jimenez, as Van Veen, dude, you've gone far too fast. You might want to. That's
not how you break.
No, and you might want to let him have the place back as well, Rich. Come on, play nice, because you did get him off the side of the circuit. There we go, through he goes. The thing is as well, even if we applied 2 drop weeks, Simon Frelick out in front by 25 points. As we see Richard Van Veen go alongside at the moment, he's going to get that job done over Rowlands. Rowlands has got in, looks like he's got in far too hot. No, does manage to keep it under control. Great entry from Patrick Rowlands, got the exit as well.
1:46.9. Sandstrom has done it as he starts the final lap. He's broken into the 146, and he's broken the morale of every single other driver in the field. All the other 23 still going are going to see that and think, how on earth did he do that? And indeed they might, because Sandstrom is whipping up a sandstorm at the moment here in the Eiffel Mountains.
Oh, nice. Love that one. Nice little pun going forward there from Mr. Hunter up in the booth. Oh, pat, pat, pat. Don't do that. He's now going to be under there from Van der Laan, who's alongside him. They're going to be going into the Vito. And Williams ain't going to fight that. That's just absolutely ludicrous, even if he tries to go too wide through there, as Van der Laan does go through. The leader comes around Dunlop, the final corner. Final hairpin as such, really, through Schumacher as he goes, and on his way up into the left and right of Kumo curve and bit curve, and then we'll pick up on him here as well. I just wanted to see how this plays out from Van der Laan going down into turn one. Is Williams going to be able to get through? He isn't. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, with the rest of the field has just been taken to school and literally, well, been shown the way, Ed, as he comes around into Vito now. Jesper Sandstrom is going to be your winner by 13.5 seconds and climbing. I'd like to point out, through Coca-Cola he goes, final corner on the circuit. Jesper Sandstrom, 2 out of 2. He shows up for 2, and he combines up victory by about 23 seconds over the 2 races, and he's done it again. He takes that victory. Jesper is your winner here once more. Great job from Jesper Sandstrom. Dennis Cornu is not going to get Amal. Tony Jimenez comes over the line in second. Swemstra in third. Yunus Amal is gonna... No, he's not. He's allowed Denny Cornu through. Cornu's going to wrap up fourth. Amal fifth. Olazwinski sixth. Varani seventh. Andy Flynn 8, Simon Froelich in 9th. Mackenzie Roon not far behind, comes over the line in 10th place there as well. Great recovery from Mackenzie Roon. What's going on with Chris Bell and Patrick Williams? They're on their run out of bit curve here, Ed, but what can you say about Jesper Sandstrom?
There's not too much more to add there. He's been pretty peerless, and he's made the rest of the field look quite ordinary. Nice little present from Yunus Amal to Denny Cornu there. Didn't look like he had a problem, unless he maybe ran out of fuel on coming out the final corner there. That's the only other explanation I have there. But certainly both Cornu and Amal putting in really, really strong drives. Much stronger drives than Imola, where they were both running up front and then kind of got into grief with each other and the people around them as well. But yeah, certainly great drives from Sandstrom. And Jimenez as well. We didn't talk about Jimenez too much, but even though he's 14 seconds in arrears, he comfortably beat everyone else. And disappointing by contrast with Ronnie and Froelich in 7th and 9th, which is a little bit lower than really what they needed. But it's still going to be very, very tight in the championship. I think it's very much a three-way fight with one race to go.
Yeah, as you see, Richard Van Veen cleared Rowlands and has gone over the line. Behind that, Waskowski will be the last one finished, and then we will be able to bring you up the results here as well. And great evening of racing that has been taking place. But yes, Sandstrom wins by 14 seconds. It's 23 over 2 races. Tony Jimenez in second place, Kevin Zwemstra third, then Denny Cornu fourth, who got the position from Yunus Amal at the end there. Jakob Olazwinski in sixth, Luca Varani, Andy Flint, Simon Froelich. Then we've got Mackenzie Roon, Joseph Mark Lucas, Robert Ridgway, Fibard Rabelard, Bart-Jan van der Laan and Patrick Williams down in 15th place. Then behind that is Chris Bell, Ludovic Rancon, Ben Goyette, Zoldan Zamota, Richard Van Veen, Patrick Rowlands, Andre Waskowski, who, yeah, unfortunately sent Linus Mum into an audition for the Upside Down Out of Stranger
All we
Things.
saw of him was his worst moment, wasn't it?
Yeah,
that's embarrassing.
That was it, unfortunately. Stefan Doddero in 23rd and Ngayon in 24th. Then Sean Possifire down in 25th. Then Linus Mum in 26th. Varun La and Andrei Rakovic are the last of down 11 laps. Then Chris Patel, we lost early on, and Sonny Rosario all at the same time there as well. Sum it up for us, Ed. What can we take away from this?
Some great battles. Most of them outside of the sort of top 8, admittedly. With Jesper Sandstrom dominating up front. Interesting race for the championship with Jimenez having a very, very good round compared to Varani and Froelich. Great recovery from Mackenzie Roon. Good defense actually from Yunus Amal and Denny Cornu. Great to see that fight as well. Yeah, I think at the moment, if I was to pick a champion going into the final race of the season at Hockenheim, I think I would probably say it's between Frelick and Jimenez. I think Varani, his peaks have been just a little bit lower than those, and Frelick has got, of course, the 4 wins. So I think I would go with Simon as probably my favourite to take the title at the moment in season 4.
Yeah, but I think the interesting thing is he had pulled some points back on him there as well. I heard a rumour that Jesper might be Lando Norris's Smurf. Maybe yes.
Maybe you needed some cheering up after what happened in Qatar today.
Yeah, I haven't watched it, so no spoilers. No spoilers.
Okay.
So there we go. But guys, that's going to bring it to an end. Thank you so much for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure having you all alongside Trickery, Oren, and Ali. Ali, earlier next week, mate. Earlier. Come on. Can't have you breaking my heart again, as we've just had it here again. But ladies and gentlemen, that's going to wrap up round 12. Join us for the final round of the season. We've got Hockenheimring Baden-Württemberg Grand Prix circuit next week as well. But that's going to wrap it up. I've been James Parfitt. I've been alongside Ed Hunter. And as always, take care. Have a great week. And you never know, we might see you on the track sometime. Good night.